So what type of training should I focus on for improving my cardio in tennis? So we already know it's going to be aerobic. It's kind of another gimme question. So with aerobic activity, you're thinking about running, biking, walking. But as we talked before, you need to start slow with cardio and build up. Just because the Canada guidelines say you need 150 minutes a week does not mean you should start at 150 minutes a week if you haven't been there in a long time. So thinking about that, what exercises will we choose to meet those goals? So when it comes to cardio, I hope this picture kind of demonstrates, the slow progression. Because when you specifically train your body for a sport like tennis, it's important to consider how your body's going to move during a match. So a tennis player typically does short sprints with frequent rest in between points. And actually, just a fun little fact, the average amateur tennis player actually travels 3 to 4 kilometers during the course of a game. So when you're selecting your exercises or the type of aerobic activity that you want to do, this needs to be considered. So for instance, if you're only doing biking and really slow long distance running, that's not going to necessarily prepare you well for a game of tennis. Whereas if you did some short sprints or maybe some uphill running or training or interval training, that would be more suited towards that sport integration idea where you're trying to match the demands of your sport. So specifically, when building up your aerobic capacity, like for a sport like tennis, you want to focus on getting your heart rate up for a very short amount of time and then practice resting so your heart rate coming down again. So you might have heard of something called like HIIT workouts. They're pretty popular now. So HIIT workouts are about working hard for a short amount of time and then resting for a short amount of time before repeating that cycle over and over again. And again, this is a spectrum. So, HIIT stuff sounds very intense and scary, but really it can start as walking on the treadmill at a slow speed and then walking on the treadmill at a little bit faster speed, slowing down and repeating that again. But specifically with aerobic exercise, you want to make sure if you're doing something like HIIT, you talk to a medical professional before you jump into it, because there is increased stress on the heart and the muscles that could be an issue if you have medical history.